hear you're ready for your dose of reality. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dr. Quack Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Quack, and
I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem, and today we're talking about a very patriotic pay-per-view, Wrestlemania 7.
that's right, it was 1991. We had Desert Storm going on in the process, and we were doing our salute to the troops there. Stars and Stripes Forever, Wrestlemania 7.
And this match, or this pay-per-view, actually, when we read the review of it before we watched it, because I had seen it once and he had seen it twice, we didn't remember a lot, so when we read it, we were like, ooh, this is not going to be pretty. And boy, a good surprise, were we wrong.
Yeah, I mean, this was out here at the LA Sports Arena. Where was that supposed to be at?
It was actually supposed to be in the LA Coliseum, which is an outdoor facility that holds 100,000 people. Obviously, when this was announced, which was right during the WrestleMania 6 show, when they announced that they were going to be here, they had no idea Desert Shield was going to happen in August, or Desert Storm was going to happen in January. There was a lot of terror worries going on. There was a lot of reports of people trying to blow up sporting events. So they moved it inside to the LA Sports Coliseum, which only does hold about 20,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I call the America show, because they were showing all sorts of patriotism throughout this.
They did.
You even had Hacksaw Jim Duggan, on color commentary for the first match with Gorilla Monsoon. And you also had Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes, and we had one other person, which I don't want to talk about him until it's the end, so let's hold off on that. Who do we have doing our backstage stuff?
Oh, backstage interview. Yeah, we had Sean Mooney and Gene Okerlund.
Yes, and Okerlund still was not terrible at this time. He hadn't discovered his Mean Gene Goofy gimmick but he definitely showed hints of it. Sean Mooney, the less we say about that idiot, the better. At least he's not Craig DeGeorge. At least he looks like an adult.
Yeah, he's not getting a second two-finger salute. I'll just let you know that.
But we also had Willie Nelson sing America the Beautiful.
Yes.
Willie Nelson, a very, very talented, well-respected singer and songwriter. I'm not going to say anything about his America the Beautiful rendition. I think it was really well, and he kept turning to make sure he faced everybody, but he came out looking like a mark. Oh my God, he was wearing half the concession, or half the merchandise table. Thank you, Willie. We understand you can buy merchandise at the show. We didn't need your visual illustration of this.
Yeah, but he did a good job on that.
But yes, the America the Beautiful, 3 stars, great starting of the show.
Yeah, I believe that was. Opening match up here, the Rockers against Barbarian and Haku with Bobby the Brain.
Before we go into the match itself, I want to say something about Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He came down to the ring looking like Baby New Year had just swallowed an entire buffet table. He was, but
I loved it.
But he was not horrible on commentary. He was better at telling the match that's going on, the analysis, the commentary side of it. He did a good job of that. He just sounded like Tony Schiavone. He only has one volume. But what he said made a lot of sense. Good job, Hacksaw, for filling in a pinch.
Yeah, make sure you learn from that, Tony.
All right, so now we got the Rockers, Haku, and Barbarian. This was a decent storytelling match. This was a very basic good guy, small good guy versus large bad guy storytelling match. And a lot of people give the Barbarian a hard time saying he can't work. Watch the double clothesline he gives. to Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. The Barbarian can work. This match was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. 2 3/4 stars. Not quite 3 stars, but almost 3 star. Really good opening match to start this show.
I went 3 stars because I felt like out of all 7 WrestleManias, this was probably the best opener I've seen so far out of 1 through 7.
Okay, I will see that. I did rate the Haku and Hercules Hernandez match higher. That's a little bit more of personal nostalgia. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to upgrade it to 3 stars. This was a great opener.
Yeah, I mean, Rockers went over on that one. Looked very impressive. And, and it's funny because I believe this was the last time they were tag teaming at a Mania.
Rockers? No, I'm not sure because was it 92? 92 when the kick happened.
Yeah.
So it may have been. It's for whatever this. We're getting close to the showstopper, Shawn Michaels, so he's coming up.
Oh yeah, he'll be there. And moving on here, we get introduced to 3 of our big celebrities here. We get Regis Philbin, Marla Maples, and Alex Trebek.
And Alex Trebek looked like he had a lot of fun here doing this. He was the guest, what was he? The ring announcer, for the main event match. He had a lot of fun meshing the Jeopardy and the wrestling interviewer backstage. It was a lot of fun. Regis Philbin has been a wrestling fan his whole life. He was actually involved in wrestling in the San Francisco, Los Angeles area in the 70s, so he's been around wrestling for a long time.
Yeah.
Marla Maples, while she was new to wrestling, her husband at the time, Donald Trump, was there. Donald Trump has been exposed to wrestling by hosting 2 WrestleManias. So we got some people who actually understood wrestling a little bit, and they did a really good job.
Yeah, I was very proud of it. I mean, great backstage segment there. Dino Bravo taking on the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich.
Kerry Von Erich, for those of you that didn't know, Kerry Von Erich was involved in a very, very bad motorcycle accident. I believe it was 1989 or 1990.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly when it happened, but anyway, he lost part of his foot. So he had a prosthetic foot when he wrestled. He would never take his boot off. He was known to shower in his wrestling boots. That was because there are some states who, when you get a wrestling license, you cannot have any prosthetics. But I think this was right around that time that he is just getting used to it, and his timing was just not good.
Yeah, this was not a very good match. You could tell he was way off. I gave it 2 stars. I mean,
I did too. Even when we reviewed Royal Rumble 90, Jacques Rougeau and Kerry Von Erich, their timing was never there. I really felt watching this, the progression of the Texas Tornado, while he was a big name and world class with the Von Erichs and Fritz Von Erich, I think he was really, really a big fish in a small pond, but then he became a little fish in a big pond, and he just couldn't hack it. This match was okay. The crowd really loved it.
yeah.
I gave it 2 stars. I didn't love it, but it wasn't horrible.
Yeah, it was a nice, setting on the table match. I mean, I liked it because it helped build things on throughout it. And then you had the Warlord with Slick taking on the British Bulldog. Warlord just came over to Slick's company over there.
Yeah, and he's wearing his silver Kano helmet and his Warlord stick, but Warlord, like the Barbarian, has a very bad reputation of not being a very good worker. This match blew because I was one of those that believed that. When I watched this match, I kept rewinding. He's like, was that the Barbarian? Did he really just, or Warlord, did he really just do that? Did that really look that good? Let me check that.
Yeah.
Wow. This was a great match. British Bulldog looked strong. The good, strong storytelling about the full Nelson versus the Power Slam. This was a great match. 3 1/4 stars.
Yeah, you went really high on that. I gave it 3 stars. I felt like this was very, it was great to see 2 powerhouses go at it and actually put on a clinic.
Put on a very good clinic. Usually you get 2 muscle heads and you're going to get ugh. This was not ugh. This was yes.
Yeah,
Great match.
It was definitely good. Bulldog went over on that one. Now moving on, if you notice the trend here, all the baby faces kept winning. Well, we had the Hart Foundation taking on the Nasty Boys for the tag team titles. Hart Foundation were on fire at this point, going into their career.
Yeah, but we should have took the hint when they flashed and showed Macaulay Culkin sitting out there watching the match. I'm sorry, Jimmy Hart. You're not getting the You Smell Award for this, but you look like you licked windows in that Nasty Boys helmet. That helmet does not look good on you. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was really bad. But it was great to see not one gimmick, but two getting hit there on, I believe it was the Anvil, and the Nasty Boys come out with the tag team title.
Well, the first one, I was surprised by the double gimmick because the first one was Jerry Sags got hit with the megaphone, and some 45 seconds later, now he's hitting Neidhart with the helmet for the Nasty Boys to go over and win the tag team titles. I don't think the megaphone spot should have been used. It really took away from the helmet. And this match was a little too long. The Nasty Boys were a little bit limited. But it was still a decent match. This was basically the last time the Hart Foundation teamed. They split up shortly after this. In fact, the next one we're going to talk about is going to be a Bret Hart singles match, and it's a very, very good match in the next Wrestlemania.
Yeah.
But I only went 2 3/4. This match felt a little bit out of sorts, but it wasn't anything they did. I just think it was one of those, they both had a bad day.
Yeah, and the fans were still into it. I gave it 2.5. Like I said, nice setting of the table throughout this pay-per-view. I felt like, the fans were fully charged in most of these matches.
I hope this is your 2-finger salute coming up.
No, but
oh my God.
It should be, I'm telling you.
And I'm not spraying this one either.
Actually, you know what?
I think we need to get our temperatures checked, because if we're not killing this match, there's a problem.
Yeah, it's God. All right, calm down.
I'm not gonna. It's in the 2-finger salute. This is just Jake Roberts can see it was caused because of arrogance.
Yeah.
So now Jake Roberts is truly blind, so we can actually have this match. This is the blindfold match, by the way, the infamous blindfold match between Jake the Snake Roberts and the model Rick Martel.
Yeah, you could see the hole right there at the very beginning, cut right there on that eye, so you could see.
Yep.
The fans were into it. I thought it was a solid match for that. I say don't ever do it again. Don't ever have another blindfold match like this, because
the crowd couldn't see it, but we saw it on television when they were putting Jake's helmet on. You could see stick his hand up, and you could see his hand through the blindfold, the hood that he's supposed to be wearing. So it's obvious there's mesh. Yes, they did a great job of pretending they couldn't see. It was really, before the cinema match, this would have been the equivalent of the cinema match. The crowd was involved. It was basically the crowd dictated this match. But you're right. Don't do it again.
Yeah.
Don't do it again.
I gave it 2.5 just because the fans were really into it. This was a fan participation. Jake would be pointing all over, and they would cheer wherever he was pointing at Martel. So, yeah, I thought it was decent for that.
Yeah, and I gave it 2 1/4 for the same reason, but if we had to rate this match just on the wrestling itself, 1/2 star. But the crowd wanted this match. It was appropriate for this time in wrestling history, so while they really botched it with the camera angle, at least the crowd was happy.
Yeah, now I'm going to give you my quack attack. That's right, because my quack attack is really a special segment to hear. I loved it because you had Marla Maples, who was talking about in the interview stage being scared to talk to the men in their locker room. Well, she went back there, and you had the Nasty Boys, and you had Earthquake, and you had Dino Bravo, and they're celebrating with champagne, and Jimmy Hart back there.
That was great. It started with just the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart, and Marla Maples is trying to get something, and then Dino Bravo comes in, they're high-fiving, dumping champagne, and Marla Maples is trying to get out of the way, and then Earthquake comes in and is mumble-esque. Oh man, it was a lot of fun. You're right. That's a good quack attack. It was really, I think it was a rib a little bit on Marla Maples.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. It really brightened up the show after the blindfold match.
Yes. I mean, I loved it so much. And Marla Maples just got pretty much put on the bottom of the pile there. That'll teach you to go into the men's locker room because you never know what's going to happen there.
That's true.
I mean, now, moving on here, let me tell you, this is probably one of the greatest moments in all of wrestling. The start of the streak here.
Yes.
The Undertaker with Paul Bearer taking on Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, we've talked about great moments in history before. When we covered the Bash at the Beach '96, that was 1 month before the start of the NWO, and that was the month of Stone Cold Steve Austin's Austin 316 segment. Very important part of wrestling history. For lack of a better reasons, March of 2001 is very important in wrestling history. Well, this is another one. Very important time in wrestling history. The Undertaker defeats Jimmy Superfly Snuka to start the streak.
Yeah, I mean, and the wild part of the match was just the Undertaker's physicality with this. Superfly tried to dive at him, and missed him and totally flipped himself over the top rope. I mean, it was the Undertaker being agile and physical and just all the specimen out there.
And Snuka really put over. See, even May the guard dog agrees how great this match was and how good the selling was from Snuka. I mean, Snuka took a shoulder block and he bounced like 4 or 5 times, trying to really put over the strength, the physicality, the brutality, and just the sheer unstoppable nature of the Undertaker. You don't give a quack attack. I'm going to give that was awesome to Jimmy Superfly Snuka for his selling, making the Undertaker look like an unstoppable monster. Very good job.
Yeah, I give this match 3 stars. I really felt like the fans, even the kids, when they saw the Undertaker, and this is back when Undertaker was, basically heel, they were fearing it.
Yes, and he hadn't even started coming out with the lights turned off and the smoke and all that stuff. This was still just the lights turned on. He barely had introduced Paul Bearer. He had been under Brother Love and Ted DiBiase, and now he's got Paul Bearer. So yeah, I agree with you. 3.5 stars. This was a very important part of wrestling history, and this match really lived up to where it became, how important it became in wrestling history. The match itself was probably really only a 2-star match, but the history and everything combined together with it makes this a 3.5-star match.
And don't forget, later that year, he ended up beating Hulk Hogan for the world title.
Very true. Very true. That Tuesday in Texas.
Hogan got it back. But yeah, career-ending match here. Oh my God. 2 of the biggest names in the business there. Macho Man Randy Savage with Queen Sensational Sherry taking on the Ultimate Warrior. And you know what was wild? Who you saw in the audience.
Yeah, they really put that over right from the get-go that Elizabeth was watching the match. And every once in a while they panned over to her and she was showing concern on her face for the match. She never really let it out where she was, what she was doing, what she was interested in. So she added a nice little element to this match that really made this match meaningful.
Yeah.
This match though was a little odd. This is the match that really causes the conspiracy theory / legend / controversy / whatever side of the road you're on. Was this the Ultimate Warrior, Jim Hellwig, who became known as Warrior, or was this an imposter? Because the Ultimate Warrior didn't come running down to the ring, he walked.
I'm telling you, I'm still a little confused on that. There looks like a difference in the man. I don't know, maybe he lost some weight in time point, but...
So we did not bother to do the analysis. We both had some training on how to analyze photographs and analyze faces to make that. We didn't do that. We're not here to talk about that controversy. We're here to talk about the retirement match between the Macho King and the Ultimate Warrior.
I will tell you though, they pulled out all the stops. I thought the match was a little long, and the finish to me really just kind of annoyed me because not only 1, 2, but 3 shoulder blocks you had to give Macho Man, and then he put his foot right on top of him to pin him.
Yeah, I went in my wrestling career, I like to use the one finger pin, but I never used that as the win. I felt that was a disrespect to take that pin, but I felt it was a way to, kind of fire up the crowd a little bit. I really felt that this was inappropriate.
And Macho gave him 5 elbows off the top. The average man doesn't get up from 1.
Right, and I gave this match 2 ratings. Or actually, I'll call it 3, because the after segment gets its own rating as well.
Yeah.
But the first 2/3 of this match, I called it a 3.5 star to 3 3/4 star match. The intensity, the brutality, the storytelling of neither one of these guys wanted it to be over. They were both ready to keep fighting. Great. Macho hitting, actually the Warrior, when he hit his press slam and he kicked out, that was the start of where it went downhill, because then it became a Sesame Street. We got the count up there. We got 5 elbows, 5, and then we got 3 shoulder blocks, It was like watching Sesame Street. So the match, while it is a 3.5 star match, the last third of it, I wanted to rate it 2.5 stars. But I'm staying with 3.5 stars because this was a historical point in wrestling for these two guys, and they did a great job up till the Sesame Street moment.
Yeah, I give you that there, definitely. It was a 3-star match, It had its high points, had its low points, but I'll tell you what really saved it was that aftermath here.
Oh, yeah.
When Queen Sherry's sitting there kicking the crap out of the Macho Man, and then Miss Elizabeth jumps over the rail to save him. And it's so wild because, Sherry's getting blocked off by the referee, and,
Yep, there are a lot of memes and pictures on the internet of this segment. There's people who were literally crying, tears rolling down their face. And there's a one where another lady whose tears rolling down her eyes and she's clapping. She's literally emotional because of how emotional this segment was and how well it was done by the World Wrestling Federation. Whoever wrote this segment and whoever put this segment together, 4 stars for this part of the segment alone.
Yeah.
It told the whole story. The match came full circle. Elizabeth and Randy Savage started the next chapter that led to SummerSlam. So these guys, they restarted a new program.
You can really say it's a match made in heaven.
And the crowd was wanting it.
And WWF capitalized on that. Good job, WWF.
So 3.5 stars for the match, 2.5 stars for the Sesame Street segment, and 4 stars for the ending. So all in all, a 3.5 star match.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. Moving on here, you had Demolition, Smash and Crush. No Axe available. Taking on Tenryu and
Koji Kitao.
There you go. There's the man who knows how to pronounce it.
And before we get started analyzing this match, Koji Kitao. Koji Kitao, you're a blight on wrestling. Koji Kitao used to wrestle in Japan as a sumo wrestler. He was kicked out of sumo wrestling because of a bad attitude. He attacked his trainer. He attacked his mentor. He came to wrestling. This match was okay, but 6 months later, he took on Earthquake in a match and tried to gouge Earthquake's eyes out. You suck!
There you go. You hear it there from the important one there. More knowledge I learn every day.
If our editor could find part of that match with Koji Kitao and Earthquake where Koji Kitao is trying to gouge his eyeballs out, I want you to see it for yourself. So I want you to understand what a blight on wrestling this man was. He has passed away, so I'm not going to say anything more about him except your time in wrestling did not belong.
Yeah. Well, they ended up going over on Smash and Crush. It was wild seeing no Axe there. That really disappointed me because Axe and Smash, they were known as that team. And then you had Crush, who became so many different Crushes, didn't he?
Yes, there was so many Crushes. This was Demolition Crush. This was the start of it. Axe actually was starting to be phased out. He developed a shellfish allergy because of his time going to Japan, and he was spending a lot of time medically unable to perform. That's why they brought in Crush, just in case. And then Axe decided to leave World Wrestling Entertainment, World Wrestling Confederation. Part of it was contractual. Part of it was he felt his time was up. It was time to move on. So we get Smash and Crush taking on Genrico Tenryu, who was a great wrestler.
Yes.
He was actually, when they kicked Dusty Rhodes out of the six-man with the Road Warriors, Genrico Tenryu was the one brought in to become the third member of the six-man title tournament in the NWA.
Yeah.
So he's a great name, but I'm not going to say anything more about the other guy. The so-so match, it was nothing exciting. Crush and Smash still were trying to develop their chemistry. 2 stars.
Yeah, I pretty much went with that. The match to me felt a little flat. I mean, it wasn't phenomenal. I'm just glad we're able to move on by it here because you had a great match here. The Big Boss Man challenging Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title.
With Lord Alfred Hayes
Commentary. Oh, I love it. Don't you love having Lord Alfred Hayes out there?
No. Lord Alfred Hayes has had the audacity to say Dusty Rhodes is in top physical condition. He's got a killer body.
Oh my!
I think Lord Alfred Hayes took one too many chair shots in the 50s.
He possibly could have. It was a great match because we had a special appearance from Andre the Giant. This was pre-crutch in his arm, so it was nice to see him just walking out there and during the middle of the match, you know, taking the Intercontinental title hostage and then hitting Kurt Hennig upside the head.
Yeah, that did happen, and well, it was great to see Andre out there, and the story made sense. I still think Andre took away from the match a little bit, especially with what happened at the end. By the way, this match ended in a
DQ.
DQ, yeah.
Haku and the Barbarian came out there and interfered in the last second. Boss Man should have had that belt.
So what they had at the end after that is Boss Man and Andre kind of had their little moment together. But that could have happened somewhere else. They could have brought Andre out to run off Haku and the Barbarian. I think that would have made more sense. Because Andre wandering around, when the commentary team cares more about what Andre's doing and the camera cares more about what Andre's doing, the match went from 3 stars to 2 3/4 just because Andre, his natural presence, he's going to command attention. He commanded the attention away from the match.
Yeah, I loved it though. I really did. I loved it when I was a kid. I loved it now. I gave it 3.5 stars just because, you know, I loved it. And Boss Man got his rub there, I felt like, where, hey, now it's time to elevate.
Then we get the Kennel from Hell. So,
Yeah, actually before that.
I know that happens later on, but that happened.
Yeah, you know, it did. You know, we all have bad matches, folks. It happens. But, you know, it was great to see, because this is the next segment here. You had Chuck Norris, Henry Winkler, Donald Trump, and Lou Ferrigno all being interviewed. And, you know, they were all, like, happy, and Mean Gene handled that very well.
This is where Mean Gene excels. When you put Mean Gene in a vignette segment where he's backstage and a director can scream, "Cut, let's do it again," Mean Gene is not great because Mean Gene gets goofy. You put Mean Gene out there and tell him it's happening in one take, and you got stars out there, you got fans out there, you want to cut 3 minutes worth of segment, you got to kill a little time, Gene Okerlund's your man. And right here, this is what Gene Okerlund should have been doing. Gene Okerlund should not have been in the backstage telling you to call the hotline. Gene Okerlund shouldn't have been teasing about, hey, what's happening tomorrow? Call my hotline. He should have been doing none of that. He should have been in the backstage. He should have been out front, in front of the crowd, because that's where he belonged.
Yeah, I wish Sean Mooney would have learned that from last year, WrestleMania 6. Good God. Take notes!
Well, he doesn't work for wrestling anymore, so he doesn't have to.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Now he's got 3 directors telling him which TV to turn to as he reports the news.
He does. Lucky him. Thank God. Moving on here. Earthquake taking on Greg the Hammer Valentine.
This is a match I forgot about. I didn't remember this happening. By the way, Greg the Hammer Valentine is the babyface in this match. Rhythm and Blues had been broken up. Honky Tonk Man had moved on.
No more boxcar.
He had dyed his hair back blonde. Gorilla Monsoon didn't refer to him as Boxcar. He actually played him up really well.
He did.
Calling him the Hammer, is a tough man. And then within the next year, he's going to be in WCW, win the United States Tag Team titles, and as part of a match we review on Wrestle War 92, which, by the way, go check that out if you haven't seen it. Wrestle War 92 is our three-match review or three pay-per-view review of WCW, where we showed the good, the good, and the wow.
Yeah.
What the hell did we just watch?
Oh my God. Yeah, I gave this match 2.5 stars. I felt like this was very solid. Like I said, helped setting the table throughout this pay-per-view. Earthquake, of course, ended up winning it. So, I mean, I thought it was,
It was
par for the course.
It was a fairly quick match, but they really put over that, is Greg Valentine going to be able to put the figure 4 on? He didn't get a chance to, but I went 2 3/4. I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I mean, and moving on here, Power and Glory, your buddy Hercules and Paul Roma taking on the Legion of Doom.
Oh boy.
I loved this match on the simple fact that it was a straight squash, basically. Road Warriors pretty much beat them up and down the road.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. I think you covered it all. I'm not going to belabor poor Hercules. Paul Roma, I'm waiting for him to run face first into a wall. I know it's not going to happen. He thinks he's too pretty. I'm surprised he even gets near water. He might melt. So, 2 stars.
Yeah, I went the same here. The later becoming 4 Horsemen, yeah, he got butt kicked there. Moving on here, Virgil with Hot Rod, Rowdy Piper, taking on Ted DiBiase for the $1 Million Championship.
Oh, I'm going to say this right now. Vince McMahon is a marketing genius. We're still watching. There's a lot of people, yes, his numbers are down. There's a lot of people still watching World Wrestling Entertainment complaining week after week about how awful it is and they're never going to watch it again, and then they turn it on next week.
Yeah.
We've even said it a couple times.
Yeah, several.
Vince McMahon is a marketing genius. Vince McMahon got Virgil over with the crowd where they were chanting his name, and he got a chicken in an egg over. So, this match was nothing great. Punches and bunches. I know where Shane McMahon got him from. He watched Virgil in this match.
He sure did.
Yeah, 2 stars. Roddy Piper really brought nothing to the match except the little bit at the end. They continued the count-out theme of Ted DiBiase kept getting counted out because he'd get distracted. But this match really was nothing. Poor Ted,
Ted's not poor. He's rich. And in fact, his money ticket, Sherry Martel found her out there.
Well, that's true. But I mean, poor from the figurative standpoint of one of the greatest talents, and he has to work with Virgil.
Yeah, it was definitely not one of his best WrestleMania moments. I gave it 2 stars just because of the star power there. The match was okay. It was passable. But you know what I get next? I get my 2 fingers of lose. Oh, yes. And I hate to do it, sorry, but I am. The Mountie taking on Tito Santana. Let me tell you, if you're going to have a semi-main event filler match, why is it so damn short? I mean, this match here should have meant something. Tito Santana is almost, 1 for life over there in a record on WrestleMania. Still, 1 more win than Coco Beware. But, he went out there and it looked like trash. And the Mountie gets a victory.
Virgil also has more wins than Coco Beware.
Yes, I'm telling you, that says it all to me. Yes.
Okay, so I was going to have a little fun with this, and then he gives it the 2-finger salute. I was going to call this a 5-star classic.
I'm glad he did. Jesus.
We have fun at the Mountie's expense. We were both big Mountie fans before, and now that we've been doing this, we've really become Mountie fans again, really big time. But this match, this was the 3rd match in a row that really didn't belong on this pay-per-view. The LOD Power and Glory match was a squash match. It didn't belong on this pay-per-view. Virgil Ted DiBiase, while it was longer, the match really didn't belong. This is a match that you could have had on the main event on Gorilla and Brain show, Wrestling Superstars.
Yeah, this could have came on USA Wrestling Sunday at noon while everybody else is doing out regular stuff.
And this one was another one. This didn't belong here, especially if it's going to be a total of 45 seconds.
Yeah.
45 seconds.
This was awful. But
So while I jokingly was giving it a 5-star rating, in reality it is 1 3/4. I see why you gave it the 2-finger salute. And it's, I wouldn't put it on the Mountie. I would put it on the writers and the backstage producers that thought this was a good idea.
yeah, because this sure was not. But thank God, the main event. Oh my God, we had Hulk Hogan taking on WWF champion at the time, Sergeant Slaughter.
And I loved Slaughter's interview backstage before the match.
He was healing it up.
He was healing it up, but he does things that most heels don't do.
Hey, I could get disqualified. Hey, I could get counted out. Hey, Hulk Hogan, you're not going to win tonight because I control the rules.
That is a great promo. You know, there's nothing wrong with being honest, heels. For those of you on the independent circuit or young wrestlers that are being heels trying to learn how to tell cut a promo, there's nothing wrong with telling the truth. There's nothing wrong with being overt about it. The crowd hates hearing the truth. It works.
And I'm telling you, the thing he did on Superstars, though, when he took that American flag up there and he set it on fire, oh my God, I can remember being a kid, being so irate. Like, how dare you do that to Hulk Hogan?
This was one of these segments that actually caused us to be moved out of the Los Angeles arena or Los Angeles Coliseum into the sports arena.
Yeah, I mean, that right there, that was worse than burning the American flag.
Yeah, behind the scenes, Robert Remus, who's Sergeant Slaughter in real life, Robert Remus had an FBI detail because he was receiving legitimate death threats of people threatening to blow up his house, and they were proving it by sending it to his home.
Yeah.
So they knew his address.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he, as a heel, he really tapped into something.
We like to call that lightning heat.
Yes.
Yeah, the match was great. I'm telling you, I loved the match. The referee had a lot of leeway. You were seeing chairs being involved in this and, you know, slow counting. You know, Hogan got busted up in the face, but in the end,
Yep.
Hogan dropped that leg drop.
Yep, and I want to talk about General Adnan a little bit. He originally was known around the wrestling world a lot on the NWA circuit as Sheik Adnan LKC. Now, a lot of guys pretend to be something they're not. Chief J. Strongbow was a French-Canadian. He was not Indian.
He was not.
Captain Lou Albano was not from Italy.
No.
Sheik Adnan al-Kaisi really is from Baghdad, Iraq. His book, if you want to read the book, it's a great read for those of you that read wrestling biographies, The Sheik of Baghdad. Read the story of Sheik Adnan al-Kaisi. He was a very, very interesting man who had a lot of great wrestling stories. And I think he was underutilized here as General Adnan. He really, Slaughter really doesn't need somebody like this. But it was there for the gimmick purpose, the storyline purpose. So unfortunately, he was very underutilized. But you're right, this match, while Hogan's beginning offense was a little bit too long, the crowd bought this match.
Yeah, they were all into it. Hogan comes out, now 3-time WWF champion.
Said it, the first to win the title 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely, you know, a historical match. Hogan went on and won the championship. Moved down to our next show, WrestleMania.
This one, for total reveal, I have never seen it.
So you're going to get a clear perspective from him. But I remember, trust me.
I was in Germany when this came on, and by the time it came out on European television, I was already back in the United States, so I have never, ever seen it. So it's going to be a clean, like you said, clean, no BS from the important one. So we're going to find out together, was it good or not? leave us some comments, but I'm not going to read those because I don't want to know beforehand.
That's right, folks. Get ready because we're going to go into WrestleMania 8. I'm your host, Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem, hoping that you vote in our tournament for the champion that never was. Should be starting round 3 coming up here real soon.
Yeah,
Was it like Monday or Tuesday, I think. We got to check the run sheet. Be watching for it. You know, he's going to put it out on Facebook letting you know when that's going to start.
That's right. Woo!